Hi everyone, welcome to the Synergy Wellness Hour. We do an hour of education every
Well,
week.
we might do an hour.
We'll see how long we last, right?
It's a long day.
Yeah.
We might most probably 40 minutes.
So we cover various topics that concern chronic illness and how to approach it from natural medicine standpoint. I'd like to introduce Dr. Nelson. He's a doctor of pharmacology by trade. Has gone to the top of the top in pharmacology school and clinical biochemistry and nutrition, and has developed drugs and has been a consultant for many companies. Has had a lot of publications behind him. Went into naturopathic medicine a long time ago. Got a diploma of naturopathic medicine, homeopathic medicine, doctorate, and Ph.D. in immunology, toxicology. I mean, the guy's just done a lot of stuff. Been on 2 Nobel Prize teams for blood chemistry.
Especially this hour of the night.
And has treated close to 7,000 patients over the past 30 years, trying to use a natural approach to address their chronic illness, which is a lot of layers of disease, that you have to go see 5 specialists for. We treat a lot of people remotely and in clinic, people with very tough situations going on where traditional medicine has failed. And with all that said, tonight we're going to be covering immunity. So with all that said, I'd like to introduce Dr. Nelson.
Okay, I'm going to give you the dime store approach to immunity to start out with because it's complex. First thing, people call me all the time, I have autoimmune disease. Well, so does everybody. All autoimmune disease means is there's part of your immune system's not working. Now, we take the first look at immune systems. And by far and away, the organ that does more to regulate an immunity is the thymus gland, which nobody talks about. So it secretes thymidine, thymosin. It helps with people with allergies, infections, virus, chemicals, metals, yeast, all kinds of things. And I find a lot of people find out that they have chronic problems. They have really a thymus insufficiency. So, there's a lot I'm going to explain here. We're going to start out with very simple and go to the more complex. So,
And then we'll answer some questions.
we'll answer. This call's not for me. You need to understand that. It's for you. If you don't ask questions, I can't give you information, okay? It's just not possible. So, before it's possible to completely understand how illness and disease can take hold of the human body and how the body deals after an illness, it is first necessary to have a basic understanding of how the body stays well and how it gets sick. The immune system is a network of cells and organs that defend the body from a constant bombardment of bacteria, microbes, viruses, parasites, toxins, etc., also mold people. In addition, it works to protect the body from its own cells, because many times, because of immune errors and infections and toxins, your body will actually attack its own cells. Now, to an extent, that can be called autoimmune, all right? And things build up to the point until you have symptoms. To understand the necessity of the immune system, you might consider what happens in a living thing once it dies. With death, the immune system shuts down. In a matter of hours, bacteria, microbes, parasites invade the body. None of these things are able to get in with the normal working immune system, but without that, it takes only a few weeks to completely dismantle the body or carry it away, leaving it into a skeleton, which is really true. So you talk about immunity, working about immune system, etc., etc. The immune system keeps all of us from happening and falling in the living body. In other words, the more you maintain the immune system, the more energy you have, the better you feel. The example may seem extreme, but does teach many about the power of the great protection mechanism. Not only do we rely completely upon and maintain the life and health, but also to fight off illness and infections when you are present. I think one of the things we see is people that go on a lot of airline flights. There's all kinds of bugs in these airplanes. People bringing in bugs, they don't clean the filters. It's basically an airline ride is nothing more than riding in a high altitude bus ride somewhere, okay? In many cases, many of the buses are cleaner than the airplanes. So, recognizing it at work, and I talked about the thymus. To me, with my background, the thymus gland is a huge issue. So, the immune system generally keeps up well enough, so when it gets unnoticed, things get unnoticed over time, the immune system is at work 24 hours a day, but is seldom seen. People see, oh, I have immunity problems. Well, you have an immune system. There are times when the workings of the immune system are visible, there are times they're not. Example, a fever is the immune system working. A runny nose, a cough, a sneeze, inflammation of the eyes, etc., etc., etc. When the skin is cut, and this is basic stuff. When the skin is cut, bacteria and viruses enter the body through the break in the skin. The immune system responds immediately, eliminating and the invading toxin while the skin heals itself. With a splinter, the foreign object has entered into the body, and the immune systems work to eliminate it and get rid of the invader while it's healing the wound. If the immune system misses something, the cut and then the puncture become a bacteria, okay, or an infection. The results are inflammation and or joint pain and or indigestion and or bowel problems, etc., etc., etc. When a mosquito bites, you're in contact with poison ivy, or when you're in contact with any other poisonous plant, you see symptoms. Every day you are inhaling thousands of germs, bug, bacteria, viruses that are floating through the air. Most often, the immune system can deal with these invaders without problem. But, as many of you know, where there's immune error, that's a problem. There are times when the immune system misses something or cannot recognize or handle it, and you may then catch a cold, flu, etc., etc., etc. We could treat acute problems, but when things start get chronic, then the body gets confused, and then that's where there's problems. So, in the foods you eat, oh, brother, there are hundreds of germs which are most often killed off from the saliva or acid in the stomach. If one or more of these get in through, you may get into the blood, you may experience food poisoning, diarrhea, the breathing problems, stomach problems, etc., etc. I'm going to stop. I mean, this is basic stuff, but does anybody have any questions? We treat everything here.
I like how Doc, you said that the body gets confused.
Yeah, because too many immune systems trying to balance at one time.
So you can have like an overactive immune system, right? Yeah, that's important. Not a lot of people touching that, believe it or not.
Overactive immune system is you're not sleeping. Number one.
Number one, huh?
Yeah, because your body can't rest.
Any questions about anything related to this or any health issues you guys have that just, keeps you in the groups for a long time trying to figure it all out, or keeps you on Google? You might as well ask Doc, he's here right now. So any questions, guys?
There are days I feel like Google.
What causes fibromyalgia? Donna Lee Morgan asks.
As I discussed the last 3 weeks, Donna, generally it is stealth or subacute infections. Pain doesn't happen because of pain.
Right.
And it could be hidden parasites, yeast, virus, bacteria. It could be anything. Then when things start to multiply, that's when you start to get pain.
Brian says, Brian, by the way, I tried reaching out to you. Would love to hear from you. I don't know if you got my message, but give me a call, 760-905-3537. Brian asks, how would you treat Hashimoto's?
Hashimoto's has more than one cause. You have to look at the chemical side of it, from chemical poisoning. You have to look at it whether it's, see again, this is not,
Well, yeah, I understand.
not simple.
Not simple, yeah.
Hashimoto's thyroiditis generally is a low thyroid. Not always, generally. Believe it or not, Hashimoto's can be caused by bad infection in the mouth, bad fillings. Virus, heavy metal are your primary ones. There are some cases where parasites are involved. You just don't treat the Hashimoto's, you treat Hashimoto's in the cause of the Hashimoto's. And we run a lot of blood and do, thyroid peroxidase antibodies in your standard thyroid panel, but we treat it by looking at the cause. Once we look at the cause, concomitantly treating the Hashimoto's, it'll go away.
Do you have to treat the liver in treating
You
Hashimoto?
gotta treat liver every time.
Anyways.
Anyway,
Okay.
what's the next?
All right. Dotson Williams asks, what about these bacteria? I think she's trying to say bacterias that form biofilm around them. It's impossible for the immune system to react to kill off at that point? Question mark. How can we wake up the immune system to notice something like that that's evading it?
Thymus. You have to activate the thymus, you have to activate the small bowel. Biofilms more often come from yeast and parasites. Now, there's a lot of stuff on the internet, biofilm buster, like Ghostbusters and all that
Like
stuff.
serrapeptase, now
Yes,
nanokinase.
serratiopeptidase does not work. And the reason it does not work is because part of it is serratiopeptidase is nattokinase. 10 years ago, there were good products for that. Now it's all imported and adulterated. It doesn't work.
So it's garbage, pretty much.
Well, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so you look at it, the bust up of biofilm, we use a very highly effective German oils, and they break up the biofilm.
Yeah, they've been working.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Is fibromyalgia curable? Yeah.
Well, theoretically, yes. Now, it depends upon what you do with your lifestyle, what your exposure is. If we start getting rid of the infection, then you're going to get better. I would never go on television and say fibromyalgia is curable. However, it has happened. Okay? The only real people that can make statements about cures are drug companies, and they're wrong. So we can ameliorate your symptoms by 75 to 80%.
Yeah, that's a politically correct statement.
This is correct. Yes,
Yes,
because-
a lot more.
A lot
That's a
of these
Band-Aid.
docs, the shrinks, the psychiatrists looking for money, and publicly say that, are going to have you come back and you get antidepressants, okay? It might be gabapentin, might be SSRA, excuse me. That kind of stuff. There is a field of study in medicine called homeotoxicology, and what it means is the more the toxins build up from the feet to the head, the sicker you are. Which means
and because of that, unfortunately, we don't have time to do that. And with the kind of price structure we have, we try to really make it affordable to the average person, so who's not, Bill Gates status.
The whole idea with this, folks, is not buy a few pills and have somebody tell you it's going to be gone in 30 days. Now, it might, depending upon the severity. However, detoxing is concomitant with killing infections. You have to kill infections and detox literally at the same time.
Dodson Williams says, I have lesions that will not heal, and I feel the reason is because of the biofilm that protects whatever it is.
Where's the lesions?
So I guess the question to you, Dodson, is where are the lesions at? We have Nina McCullough on watching.
Oh, okay.
Nina, hi, long time no see. Would love to see you back. It's a pleasure to see you on here. We got Rita watching, Dodd. We got some people here.
So
that's great.
good.
Okay.
Keep them coming, folks, or I'm going to sit here and fall asleep. So
Yeah. All
the-
right.
A lesion can mean nothing more than a pathological error. A real lesion, if you identify it in the skin, obviously, is a visible group of marks or marks. But most lesions are from some type of tissue or pathological damage. Okay. Now again, you guys get on here. The lesion question is really incomplete unless that's the guy was talking about Hashimoto's.
No, this is different.
You have anything else before we move on here?
Well, folks, we got anything else? Because if we don't, we're gonna move on to what, the fibro group?
No, I can go through a little more immunity, but
Do we have any more questions?
complex problems are not boiled down to one sentence. And that's why I say, if you need help, call Nick at 760-905-3537 or call the office, which is 760-7765. What kind of paralysis are you talking about?
Yeah, what kind of paralysis?
When you wake up, are you stiff? I need
Yeah, what kind of
we
paralysis,
need
Don?
elaboration here.
Sleep paralysis. Are you able to sleep? Do you wake up stiff? What are we talking
You
about
have
here?
trouble swallowing? Do you go to sleep, stay asleep? Do you have a REM pattern? Do you not have a REM pattern? Is it accompanied with a headache or pain or nightmares or whatever? So if she comes back.
Yeah. Anybody else? Questions? Questions for Doc about your own health condition? Okay, we'll continue on, I guess.
I guess we'll continue on. So, the foods that you eat, we talked about a lot about that. Many human ailments are caused by immune system work. And destroying them. Rheumatoid arthritis occurs when the immune system is inappropriately in joints. Many diseases are caused by immune system errors, which are either toxins and or infections or both. The immune system is not only seen in injury and in illness, it is also can prevent us from being healthy, doing things that might otherwise be helpful. One example is which organ transplants, where the immune system may fight against the transplant organ because critical to health and healing.
5 minutes.
And it's fascinating to recognize its role in our lives. A basic understanding of its components and how they work together makes it impossible to see what is working to keep that person healthy. That's why we do things in sort of consort, in layers and steps. And I get this all the time. Can I get rid of 15 symptoms at one time? Maybe, but it depends on what the common denominators are. When we are not healthy, the basic understanding will also help us realize what the steps are to fix the immune system. It looks like we got some questions.
Yeah. Can your organs heal themselves?
Yes.
Can diabetes be reversed?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you what the deal is. I got a doctor right now. I'm getting his diabetes is almost gone in a month. Now, the question that a lot of people ask is, for stem cells, and in fact, it is the only oral patented stem cell supplement that works. If you want to know about it, you better call the office because Nick's not in that business yet, but 760-776-5001 and say stem cells. A lot of times, I think the stem cell fractionation is getting better, but by no means is it 100% for everything. I have 4 diabetics on insulin, 4 of them been on the oral stem cell product for about 3 months. They've lost some weight, and their insulin dose has gone down by 40 to 50%, which is pretty good.
Is that revolutionary product that came out?
Yeah.
That's great. Okay, so
There's another one there.
yeah. Okay, so we got some people on this feed. Any questions? Any health questions, as broad or specific as you'd like them to be?
If I pick one topic here, I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah, it's going to
That's
be
why
boring.
I don't do that. That's why I try to mix stuff together.
A lot to know. I mean, there's a lot to know. So
I've done lectures in front of groups with large topics, and
inflammation, chronic fatigue, neurological dysfunction, problems thinking clearly.
here
Okay.
we go.
Marcia says, we had mold under our house. Not sure what type. It was yellow and white.
Well, that's what mold looks like most time.
Our 9-year-old son is experiencing cognitive issues. How would you treat? That's a very, very.
I've got a couple kids like that now, and they're one's in San Francisco, and one is in God, I think it's New York.
Mhm.
And to treat the cognitive issue, the first thing you got to do is give them right things to get the gut cleaned up, and that does not mean necessarily a probiotic. All right. Once we find out if in fact this expulsion of toxins from the mold, if you believe that's what it is, then we can start breaking down the mold. And you know, they said it's a son. It's a son. Do we know how old this kid is?
I think they're saying 9.
9-year-old? Yeah, they're pretty compliant. We can do things with that. I've done it before.
Yeah, docs treated whole families that have been affected by mold,
Oh man.
and they come to them, struggling, camping with all their belongings thrown away. So, let's see here. Anybody else? How about Stephanie? I see you're watching. Any health questions you got for us? I'm gonna start calling on people. I see you on here. We got Leah Williams. Any specific questions? Anything that's bothering you today? Maybe some symptom that you're having a hard time getting over? We'd love to get those questions. So,
I mean, immunity is long and complex. I'm giving you the less than high school version here.
yeah.
Because you start getting immunoglobulins, IgG, IgA,
Fall
IgM,
asleep.
all that kind of stuff, you guys are going to start snoring. So it doesn't make much sense. All I'm trying to do for you is to teach you how the parts fit together. That's the key. Because there's not one single component of the immune system that you need every one of them. You don't need... it's just like people in an accident and they, for some reason, lost a spleen, ruptured spleen, had to take the spleen out. That, people say, well, a spleen is a blood filter. It's a whole lot more than that. It helps manufacture and release immune compounds. Those that have had a splenectomy tend to get infections much more than people that don't.
I have a question, Doc. Why do people develop food sensitivities? Like overnight, it seems like they weren't sensitive to foods, now they're sensitive to them.
There's a bunch of junk been building up in the liver for years. And I fix livers all the time.
She says, Donald says, okay, I do have fibromyalgia and I'm always going numb in my fingers. What causes that?
Well, the obvious one, if you go run around your doctor, they're going to tell you they're nuts, is decreased circulation. If the numbness is accompanied by coldness, then the first way we look at it is the thyroid, the adrenal, or the nerves, like the ulnar nerves.
Marcy Arnold, calling you out. What do you got for me? Questions? Are you struggling with any health issues or your loved one that is doctors are having a hard time giving you explanation of why that you would have a question for Doc? Alexis, how about you? Alexis is one of our wonderful nutritionists that works with us. She's had a lot of experience with chronic illness, and she's on the video call right now. If you have any questions, Alexis, I would love to hear it. Okay. Can you reverse allergies by cleaning up the liver?
Not completely. In some cases you can. You got to change the diet. You got to get rid of all the sugary stuff. And everybody hates me. Got to get rid of dairy, wheat, fruit, and sugar for at least 2 months. And you're going to find out what your continued exposure is, or is it a metabolic error in the mast cells. People say, well, I have mast cell disease. Well, you all got mast cells. The question is, are the mast cells are you able to suppress what the mast cells do to decrease the histamine?
Is that where you're talking about the body being confused?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Alexis. Alexis is our wonderful associate. She works closely with us. She actually runs a big group for us, about 59,000 plus members for fibromyalgia online. And she tries to educate people about nutrition as it relates to their health. Okay. Yep, that is MCAS. Yep. So let's see. Alexis, any good questions? I know you've been around the block with doctors. I know you've had personal experience with your son. Any questions as it relates to chronic illness that you would have for Doc? Any good questions?
Mast cell problems, by the way, are basically you have to slow down the production of histamine and increase the metabolism of histamine. And there can be any one of a number of reasons why that's true.
Well, she's thinking.
Somebody's thinking. Okay.
Okay. Any questions, guys? Any other questions?
I'm going to move on here a little bit.
Because we're kind of close to that.
You don't ask, we can't help you.
Okay, what about antihistamine?
What, antihistamines?
Diet or what are we talking about?
Antihistamine drugs generally don't work. They will suppress symptoms. The question is, why are you overproducing histamine?
Why?
We don't know why. Depends upon the person. It could be any one of a number of things. It could be, histamines from things like perfumes, cigars, environmental things. Somebody said, well, I can get a blood test for histamine. Well, you can, but it's worthless because histamine disappears off the red and white cell about every 15 seconds.
Well, Alexis, that's your area of expertise now. You've gotten a low histamine diet down to a T. If anybody wants to know about low histamine diet, ask Alexis. She really has went above and beyond with that. Ava says, hi, curious about toe fungus and strange white film under nails. Nothing is getting rid of it.
You got yeast. You gotta treat the yeast. You can't just treat the toes. It doesn't work. You have to treat the whole body. And once you do that, in about 2 weeks to about a month, it's gone. Unless you're not cleaning your toes, unless you're not changing your socks or whatever, Now, women with nylons or pantyhose that wear them every day, like with heels or office environment and stuff like that, you're going to tend to get more toenail fungus than if you aren't, because those things don't breathe. You got to have something on that breathes.
Why do women have more yeast issues to begin with?
Estrogen.
Oh, estrogen. That's right.
Estrogen mimics yeast just like its first cousin.
What is the best way to get Candida albicans under control? So to get Candida yeast under control.
You have to follow a program. We have a very, very good program that's pretty much foolproof. If you go to the internet, they're going to tell you the 30-day Candida cleanse. Forget about it. You're throwing away your money. We have a program of about 6 different things because not only do you suppress it, but you have to kill it.
Because it's an infection, right? It's a fungal infection, essentially.
Yeah, but it also leads to a lot of other things. And so we have a program for that. You call Nick, 760-905-3537, or call Linda at the front desk, 760-776-5001.
Pretty much, if you're calling me, you want to know how we do things for people in clinic and people who are remote patients. And if you're calling the main office, you're just ready to book a 15-minute free phone consult with doc or in person. So, what is okay, so that's pretty much it. We're kind of...
we've been on here
for a while, about 45 minutes.
Have we?
45 minutes, yeah. What are the symptoms of that one might have from Candida, Arinda asked?
Just about anything, Arenda. Let's see. In women, tiredness, headaches, can go to sleep, but can't sleep. More tired in the daytime, can't sleep at night. Brain fog, memory loss, skin. It's just a boatload of stuff. And I did those symptoms a couple of weeks ago on the Facebook. Systemic Candida can mimic almost everything. In women, rashes, especially between the legs or under the breasts, pain, diarrhea, usually not constipation, sugar cravings, brain fog, heart palpitations, liver problems, gallbladder problems. It's just a boatload of stuff. Just a boatload. And if you want me to go through Candida, the next week or two, I could do that. But there's a list of about 3 pages of symptoms. Okay, 3 pages. I think we got some more here.
All right.
Let me see if I can see.
Okay.
I don't know where my glasses went. Oh, here.
What are the symptoms of heart failure?
Well, it's not chest pain. Now, here's the thing. If you are getting short of breath, if you can't walk up some stairs, if you can't walk more than 15 steps about short of breath, believe it or not, pain between the shoulder blades and the back, pain tends to be more on the right side, so you have to differentiate whether it's gallbladder or heart, shortness of breath, blue lips, blue fingernails. There is such a thing called silent ischemia, which means you're having heart attacks but having no symptoms. That we need to talk to you about, because we got to get that heart tissue back and sort of redo. I mean, believe it or not, I've gotten a lot of hearts much better, much stronger. We can't say rebuild the heart, but technically we do.
Does altitude affect people with neural Lyme? Altitude.
Yes. Because when you go altitude, there's less barometric pressure, and the toxins will tend to move quicker. Obviously, if you're in an airplane and you're in a pressurized cabin, probably not. But if you're walking around in high altitude, that can be a problem. Yes, yes it does. Let's see what else we have. We're starting to get phone calls, so that's why I'm looking at this. Well, Candida albicans, I mean, Alexis, there's 600 species of Candida. And to say that Candida albicans alone would cause this problem, probably the ultimate of all Candida is Candida albicans, but it can be any one of a number of ones. Yes. The approach to Candida is not one or two things for a couple of weeks. You have to change your diet, and we literally have to kill the Candida without drugs.
Did we talk about the barometric pressure and all that? Okay. That's, I mean, we're pretty much getting here to the wire here. I mean, we've gone way over 45 minutes though. So I think we should, unless
Couple
it's
more questions?
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, again.
Is lupus and fibromyalgia one of a kind?
No. How? I don't know who told you that.
What causes lupus in naturopathic medicine, Doc?
Well, it's regular medicine. I do a lot of that too. So,
Typically.
people will tell you it's an autoimmune infection of the spleen, which means the spleen cannot filter red cells. Lupus, I would say 50 to 60% of the time is a particular type of parasite. And beyond that, then it's a virus.
She says, well, you need to come see us, Julia, but before you go. But Julia says, I need to travel from California to Tibet soon.
To Tibet?
Yeah, because a dear friend is getting married. I have neural Lyme. What can I do? She needs to come see
Don't
us.
go. There's a lot of crap in Tibet. Tell me you look at the wedding over a screen. What do you do about neural Lyme? You give us a call.
Yeah, come see us. I mean, if you're in California.
We can give you some things to sort of kill it off and prevent the symptoms when you're there. Yes.
Okay. What is your position of non-denatured whey as a protein supplement?
I don't. Well, whey is whey. All denaturing means is that you take the aroma. Oh God, what's the name of that? The aroma compound out of the. When anything ferments, it produces alcohol. Okay. That's why. When you sell whey, it's not. The denaturing term kind of confuses me unless somebody's trying to sell you some whiz-bang deal, which there's a lot of people out there trying to do that.
We are in Palm Desert, California, Julia. Where are you at? And, you know, we also offer remote sessions too,
I do it all the time.
so you don't have to be here. But I mean, ideally, if you can come down, great. But where are you located? We're in Palm Desert, kind of close to Palm Springs.
About a 2-hour drive from LA, where you don't want to go.
Okay. Any other questions?
Now, if you want us to do some different topics, I mean, I've got plenty of that material.
Yeah, please list it
But
on
you
this
have to
video.
list it on the video, or call Linda or something like that. One more? Do we have one more?
She says, "You're making me sleepy, Doc."
I'm sleepy.
Me too.
I can't. What do you want me to do? To get the dancing girls in here? You're probably on the East Coast time anyway. So,
She's in LA. Well, just come over here then.
Julia, you're in LA, same time zone as me. You don't have any excuses unless you're really sick.
Yeah.
Of course, you just going to LA for one day make you
Yeah,
sleep.
come over here. Stop in. We'll spend a lot of time with you, and
We'll figure out what's wrong with you. But
yeah,
again,
give you some stuff.
from LA, worst case is 2 hours.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Unless it's Sunday afternoon, you're going the other way, or Friday night, you're coming out here, and then you hit the parking lot. So
Okay, people are falling asleep. All right. Well,
people are falling asleep. I understand you. I can't. I'm trying to give you information that will help you. So again, you need help. You know, call.
why are so many patients being recently diagnosed with GI issues?
Bad food, bad water, bad air. And a lot of the gastroenterologists tell you they think you can give them something to kill an infection, and beyond that, everything goes haywire.
Plus, some people get over-vaccinated too. That's not necessarily.
Well, but I don't know if a GI issue is necessarily near 100% linked to vaccines. One more.
Irinda asks, Irinda's a regular. Hi, Irinda. How do you test if you have candida? Or how do you test for candida?
You can go to the lab. They can run some antigens and antibodies. The problem is that they're not always accurate. You know, if you do the panels for candida, IgG, IgM, or it's acute or chronic, you can't just do that alone. You have to do a blood panel at the same time, because that helps me pinpoint what's going on.
That's pretty much it, unless you want to keep going.
No.
All right,
No, I
well,
don't
folks,
see your point.
that's pretty much it. Please ask any questions on Facebook. We will try our hardest to answer it, and please, reach out to me so I can get you answer any questions about
I have been,
and get you scheduled in.
I've been in lectures in hospitals. I've given stuff way more complicated with this, and guess what? They still fall asleep.
Yeah, that's it.
Everybody wants to learn, but learning is painful.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah,
guys.
that's it.
Thanks, Alexis.
Okay, have a good
Bye.
week. We'll talk to you next week.